Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And there is a new #1 deck in Marvel Snap. I saw this coming. I tried to warn you this is coming, but we'll get to that after we talk about, well, rumors of Loki's demise appear to have been strangely overdone. Derek, the player who's been in competition for #1, Havoc OP, has a Loki deck that's competing at the top of the meta, so we have to take a look at it. We're going to take a look at what Loki is doing right now. I think what Loki is doing is wildly interesting. I'm going to actually go through one by one here. I never do this. Nico, Minoru, and Hydra Bob. Nico is arguably the best one. Hydra Bob is the one with the most stats. Shadow King, White Widow, and Jeff. The two best 2s to be played on turn 2, and the best 2 to play at the end of the game. Copycat, Loki, which is get your opponent's deck, and Nocturne. A 3 that can be game-winning, that gives you all sorts of information, especially all sorts of information before you Loki, because remember, all you have to do is draw Copycat, not play her, and then the best 3 in the game. Shang-Chi, Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel is the most stats from a 4-drop. Shang-Chi is the best 4 at the end of the game. Claw. Not the most stats for a 5-drop, but one of the easiest and most powerful stats. And then Legion, a scam card. What Derek has done is take the best standalone cards at different points in the game from each cost curve and put them in a Loki shell. That's really interesting. Marvel Snap, we know, is a game that involves a lot of synergy with small 12 card decks, but what Arishem has taught us is that just having the best stuff and being able to play good cards with good stats is extraordinarily powerful. That's what this Loki deck does. It says, I'm going to, even if I don't Loki, just have the best thing to play all along the cost curve. And it wins. That's crazy, right? All right, so Hydra Bob and Nico can be Nightcrawler, Iceman, Nebula, and America Chavez. We're looking for the other best ones. I am personally partial to Nightcrawler and Nebula. Nebula, especially if you have White Widow. Next up, we have White Widow and Jeff. Shadow King is here, excuse me. Angela, especially if you keep Jeff and Nocturne. We have Cable, we have Mirage, and in 2 days we will have Kate Bishop. Copycat and Nocturne could be Cassandra, Nova, or Juggernaut, and it's worth noting that Cable gets extra value if you do not have Nocturne. I mean, he's powerful if you do have Nocturne, but that extra information is very useful, and Nocturne can give it to you, so can Cable. Polaris and Red Guardian are also possible changes here. Legion can be Vision. You do need Loki, but Ms. Marvel can kind of be Gwenpool or Captain Marvel without you losing too very much. You're basically looking at the best stats and the best endgame effects at each cost slot, and that's what you're looking for as far as replacements go. So Derek was #1 and still playing this list. He has since fallen to #2 with the deck we're going to look at next. Turn 1 is often Bob. You can hold Nico for a good spell. Sometimes, though, you pass, because you'll note on turn 4, there's only really Ms. Marvel to play, so very often on turn 4, you're going to end up making a turn 3 play, and Hydra Bob, at that point, is a little bit safer. You're not giving away information. Turn 2 is Jeff or Widow, and again, this is a Sandman meta. Sandman is all over the place. So if you can afford to play White Widow first, that's better. Jeff is better later because you can play Jeff at the end of the game with another card through a Sandman. Turn 3, if you have Loki, you're usually playing Loki. If not, you're dropping Nocturne. You have no idea when and how you're playing Copycat. Copycat can be any frickin' card. Copycat has beaten me by being everything from Dagger to Shang-Chi to Null. Next up, we have Ms. Marvel or Nocturne on turn 4. Generally speaking, if the mid is safe and I don't think they have ongoing, want to get Ms. Marvel. Huh? Turn 5, Claw or Legion. Legion is very often, if there's a location that's benefiting your opponent, make it not be that location, please. Claw is also just a very powerful card. Keep in mind that you have Claw when you make your other plays. If you can lock up a location with Legion or lock up a bunch of locations with Legion and then play Claw to get extra power in that location, that's also very strong. Turn 6, Shang, Claw, or Legion. You can also go Ms. Marvel and Shang and Jeff. This list is very powerful. After the next little bit, we're going to talk about some other stuff. Then we're going to come back and look at the #1 deck as played by the great Sizer. We are taking one last look at this list. Again, this is if you asked someone with the best stats card and the best ability at each cost slot, it's basically this deck. Hey, please hit that sub button. We do 7 days a week of videos. We're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of the year, and your support in helping us get there would mean the absolute world to us. We're doing our best to climb in views, just like we're all trying to climb ladder, infinite ladder, and the Deadpool's Diner leaderboard. We are offering 7 days a week of videos. We do 6 days with at least 3 and often 4 brand new decks. And then the 7th day is a podcast. You can check out the podcast that came out yesterday with the greats Interrobang and JD McDonaldinho talking all about Marvel Snap if you're interested. So much content. Hit that sub button. Literally, you don't even have to click out of the video. Right below me, there's a little red button. It says YouTube. If you click that, you're subbed to me. So please do so. In addition, we do the biggest giveaways in all of Marvel Snap. Every season, we give away 5 the week before the season and 5 the week of the season. Now, all you have to do to win a season pass is hit that sub button. And then, on each video, you leave a comment. Each video's comment section carries its own winner. I'm going to tell you what comment to make later this video. Go through the other videos, make that comment, and you have a chance to win a season pass. Kate Bishop looks like she's going to be Jeff White Widow level. You don't want to miss out on getting this card for free. Also, by the way, we're announcing our first 5 winners tomorrow in tomorrow's video. We're also currently running 12 alliances. I think we might actually be running 13 right now. So we're going to do more as needed. If you're interested, check out the Patreon. You can even join for free in order to get in the alliances. The only thing you must do is join the Snap Judgments League Discord. It's linked in the description of this video. And grab the Seeking Alliance role. Go hop in that Seeking Alliance channel, and you are in. Cool. All right. The number 1 deck in Marvel Snap currently is Sizer's Sandtriot. So what I told you was Sandman is everywhere. Sandman is becoming one of the best and most powerful decks. We've looked at 2 Sandman decks in the past week. Usually what answers Sandman is Patriot. Well, this deck asks the question, what if you just combine the 2? Why not run that Patriot with the Sandman? So Sizer did so in this deck, and it is incredibly strong. You have multiple insanely powerful things you can do in this list. This is fairly similar to Butt and Yo Woody MJ, and that group had a deck that they used Blink in to try and get like an Ultron on a Blue Marvel, sorry, not an Ultron, a Onslaught on a Blue Marvel, and this feels sort of similar to that, where like your earlier play, that Super Skrull who doesn't do anything, that Nocturne that you already used or whatever, turn that into, hopefully, a Sandman or Blue Marvel. But if you turn that into a Doom or Ultron, you're perfectly fine. If you end up turning it into an Ultron, you still have Blue Marvel and Patriot to pump that further. It's really, really powerful. This list is very strong. All right, you can find Sizer at twitch.tv/Sizer2654. This deck was created by a Be Happy Be Snappy, who is apparently a Twitch streamer that I can't find. If you know of Be Happy Be Snappy, please put me in touch with them so I can give them proper credit. Thanks. Nocturne and Cassandra Nova can be Copycat, Polaris, Spider-Man, and Gladiator. Cassandra Nova is here as a tech card for Arishem, and Nocturne is here as probably the best card in the game. You should just stick Nocturne in decks. Iron Lad can be Jubilee. That is in some ways worse, but in some ways perfectly fine, largely because of Blink. This deck does need both Jeff and Blink, though. You cannot play it without Jeff and Blink. Jeff in particular gets through your Sandman, and Blink is how you make sure you're seeing the pieces you need. All right, so the new number 1 deck, Sizer put some air and some space between himself and the number 2 deck with this one. Turn 1, there's nothing to play. Turn 2, I just generally Jeff over Dazzler, although again, Sandman meta might switch that up. Dazzler also after an Onslaught is just huge. Turn 3, I would generally like to play Patriot over Nocturne. Reverse if you don't have Iron Lad or anything to Super Skrull, but I generally like to get Patriot out first because I might want to blink the thing I play on turn 4. Turn 4, you play Super Skrull if it's like an amazing card. You'll know what matchup Super Skrull is completely crazy in. Is your opponent like playing Ravonna, so they might Iron Man? Then all of a sudden you just want Super Skrull. You want cards along Super Skrull's lines for stuff like that. If not, you play Iron Lad. If not, you play a 3, ideally Nocturne. Turn 5 is usually Sandman. You can also blink for Sandman or your other combos, or just drop Blue Marvel, as the case may be. Turn 6 is Ultron or Doom, whichever has more power. If there's enough locations filled, then Doom is stronger. If there's a wide open board, then Ultron is often stronger. And that's how you play this Marvel Snap deck that is currently, again, number 1 on the Infinite leaderboard with some space. This can be outpowered by stuff, right? Like, opponents can play enough deck that has enough power to go over this, but you have game plan to almost everything. If you've been playing a lot recently, you'll realize that, like, Destroy is back, largely because of frickin' Destroy is back largely because of alliance missions. Super Skrull will be your opponent's null, and then Sandman says they can't play Death and other crap, and then unless they're spending their whole turn on Killmonger at the end of the game, Ultron wins. There's a ton of ways to win with this list. It's crazy, crazy strong. It does a lot of powerful things, and it has an answer to a lot more decks than it looks like for a deck that does not have a ton of tech. Please do try it out. And if you'd like to see this deck tried out, please check out the stream team. Today is Sunday, so the King of Canada, who just hosted an awesome tournament yesterday, run by many of our mods, like Ratko and Two Ties, hey friends, will be streaming at noon Eastern. FaThorNewman streamed yesterday and should have a video of these decks up later today. In addition, Gregor2424 will have tomorrow's video and tomorrow's decks over on his Twitch. It's worth noting that tomorrow we will have Snap Masters cut decks. We're going to cover the cut of a tournament that all Marvel Snap's best players, so get yourself excited. All right, next up we have Dead Idiots. Dead Idiots is a deck that I'm not 100% sure who made. I don't even know where I found it. I was looking around for cool decks, as I often do, and I stumbled upon this. This looks almost exactly like, not exactly like, but almost exactly like a gnome deck. Gunny T, who created the original Idiots deck, created the exact same deck as this, except with, I can't think of the card, Shauna for Shang-Chi. This is not like a completely original idea, but it is a very powerful and very fun deck, particularly in Conquest. I'm going to credit Gunny T and Gnome Plays. Gunny doesn't content create anymore, but he does run tournaments on our Discord, and you can find Gnome Plays at twitch.tv/gnome__plays. For this list, Nico can be America Chavez. That is a major loss, but it is doable. Cull Obsidian can be Crossbones. A big loss, not as big, but still big. And Sasquatch, Mockingbird, and Scar are needed. This list, again, basically operates under the premise of you don't have enough Shang-Chis to beat it, unless you're running Grandmaster. All right, so you should check out Tuccrr, who has a YouTube video about this deck already with some gameplay, TUCCRR, and it is a freaking, he crushed with it. He's who convinced me to run it. This was going to be in Friday's video, and it got bumped to Sunday, and then Tuccrr was like, no, cover that. That's crazy. So I played it. It is really strong right now. So turn 1, you want Hood or Squirrel Girl, depending on whether or not there's a Mysterio. You don't Squirrel Girl if there's a Mysterio. Turn 2, you Mysterio if you have Sasquatch. You play 2 cards if Nico is last and +2 for Carnage. If you can get 3 cards in a location and Nico at +2, Carnage is now 10 power. If Carnage is now 10 power, it does the thing and makes Scar cheaper. Turn 3, if you can Sasquatch. If not, you want a Carnage or Mysterio. If you can set up a Death on turn 4, you Killmonger. If not, you set up Null. And I know Death on turn 4 seems crazy, right? But if you played if you played basically all your ones, it is doable. Next up, you generally speaking play Cull or Mockingbird on turn 4. Once in a while, you'll Death. Turn 5 is the same concept as turn 4. And then turn 6, you'd really like to Scar and Shang, or Scar, Shang, and Mockingbird. And then, spoiler, you won because you just dropped like 30 power in every lane with some of the biggest and scariest cards in Marvel Snap. List is awesome and puts up an absolute ton of power. You should check it out. You can tell I didn't plan to make this a featured deck. If anyone can tell me, that'll actually be the comment today. You can just say, I have no idea, but tell me. But how can you tell I didn't plan when I found this deck for it to be a featured deck? Let me know in the comments. That's how you win a season pass today. The last chance review for Gwenpool. Tomorrow we're going to be covering the tournament, and I don't want to stop that tournament coverage for Gwenpool. So this is your last chance Gwenpool review. Gwenpool is the season pass card for the month of July. She's a 4/6 on reveal. Pick a random card in your hand 3 times, give +2 power each time. This card is must-have. It's in many of the best decks in Marvel Snap. This is a better season pass card than I think any we've gotten since Hope. Zemo created an archetype. This is better than Zemo. This is better than Gilgamesh, which put Zoo back on the map. This is a tier 1 card that is must own. Its ability is crazy strong and only going to get stronger as we get more and more cards coming out that can take advantage of her +2 each time. For example, Scarlet Spider creates an exact clone of itself. It's a 4/6. If you can Gwenpool and then create a clone, you'll get like 16 power out of that 1/4 energy card. There's so much to do with Gwenpool. If you've seen it with Shaw, if you've seen it with Brood, you know how strong this card is. Get it, play it, you will not be sad you did. All right, next up, we have Moon Knight SS. This deck travels all the way from Italy. I guess the last deck traveled all the way from Austria. So, like, we're not, like, coming from nowhere. But this is Moon Knight SS. It's a Moon Knight Silver Surfer list. The real trick here is Moon Knight is very, very powerful. The only twos that you don't want to hit here are Colleen and Forge, but you don't have to usually play Moon Knight with those cards in hand. If you don't have Surfer, though, and you do have like a Colleen Forge type thing, and Gambit's a good play, feel free to Gambit away. The only cards you don't want to Gambit away, like you'll almost always hope over Gambit, right? You don't want to Gambit away Surfer, you don't want to Gambit away Gwenpool. Almost everything else is kind of okay. All right, so this is created by Tarantino, an Italian player, very nice person. It was a pleasure to meet Tarantino the other day, and it was received via thegreat.geo, the Italian player who finished #1 in January. For this deck, Hope, Shaw, and Proxima are needed. You can try Dakin or Strong Guy for Copycat. You do not actually need the card Copycat. She's very good, one of Geo's favorite cards in the whole game, but Strong Guy and Dakin make some sense in terms of replacing that card. All right, this is a fun and strong list. I don't think this is a tier 1 list, but it is both fun and powerful. Turn 1, you want to pass. Turn 2, you Colleen if Swarm, Forge if Brood or Shaw. Or if you have Hope, you might want to Colleen and hold Forge, but sometimes you end up forging Hope just because Hope gives you the ability to, on turn 5, play 2 3s, and you'd rather play 2 3s than Forge later on, so you just have a 6-power Hope, so be it. Turn 3, Hope, Moon Knight if you don't have Gwenpool, or obviously Colleen, and then if not, you can just feel free to Brood. Turn 4 is a Gwenpool or a turn 3 play, hopefully on Hope Summers, no pun intended. Turn 5 is 3 2s if Hope, if not, Forge and Brood or Forge and Shaw. And then turn 6 is whichever 3 and Surfer. And then hopefully you've discarded somewhere along the way Proxima, and you've just put up an absolute ton of power because Gwenpool and Surfer are brilliant together. The card that you probably want to consider in this list that is not currently here is Absorbing Man. It doesn't fit right now within the curve, but it is an extremely powerful Silver Surfer card. You'd probably have to cut Colleen Wing to do so. This deck is, again, awesome and super fun. I think Surfer has long been a tier 1 deck, and it's finally started to get the respect and attention it deserves. Questions of the day, and then we're done. Question 1. Ginger Prime asks about SJL Discord membership, and this is my excuse. Also, Ginger Prime, check your DMs. But Ginger Prime, this is my excuse to, I don't want to say brag, but I'm definitely bragging a little bit. The Snap Judgments League Discord has now hit 1,000 members. We are officially a reasonably big size Discord. We've got 12, soon to be 13 alliances going at the same time. We've got multiple tournaments, more and better tournaments than anyone else in Marvel Snap. We are just about to hit the cut of the Snap Judgments League for the rest of August. We'll be kicking off another Snap Judgments League tournament in September. And we do all sorts of quick 16-person King of the Hill tournaments. Check it out. Mandatory Burnout asks about the profile button in the game. Is it good or bad? It tells bots, but it doesn't tell ranks in Infinite. I don't think I give a crap if it tells ranks in Infinite. I don't love that it shows ranks, but I kind of like that gives us a good idea of bots. If something's got a huge collection level, but their top rank is silver, you know it's a bot. That's going to be really useful for next season's climb, and I'm pretty excited about that information. Thank you for the great question, Burnout. Two Ties asks, on Season 1, Day 1, what I prioritize between ladder, conquest, and alliances. And ladder. Ladder is the answer. Conquest is not something I actually care about. I use Conquest for fun. I have like 10 silver tickets, 12 gold tickets, and 3 infinity tickets that I'm not going to get through this season. I don't care about Conquest. Once I beat it twice in one season, like the second season, I was like, oh, I know how to do this, and then I stopped caring as much. I've beat it 2 other times just randomly because, like, I was trying to burn through tickets and I kept winning. But I don't actually care about Conquest. I like tournaments where you can get skill level for players and so on, but I don't actually like Conquest. Meanwhile, we have alliances, which are there all week. I don't have to worry about that on day 1. Like, alliances are going to be cool at the start of the season. We don't know what that looks like, and I'm excited for it, but ladder is where I'm going to be. Ladder remains the most competitive and interesting mode in Marvel Snap, at least in my perspective. Noff Poppin wants to know what obscure musician or band I want more people to know about. I don't have a super great answer for this, so I'm going to answer someone a little older. I'm old, and so I don't know as much new music, but I really like Noff Poppin. I really like No Name. saw the Nof and then I said the no at the beginning of Nof and I messed up. But I really, really like No Name. She's a rapper who I think is completely amazing. Her style is brilliant. She's extremely personal and touching. I've been to see her live. I adore her. You should check out No Name if you haven't. And again, as always, I'm willing to take recommendations in the comments. But if you send me a recommendation, you better get on the Discord and send me a link. Oh my god, someone sent me a link in the questions and I haven't hit it. If that's you, I'll get to it. I just remembered. It's been a busy few days. You'll see why soon. We got a big surprise coming for you, coming soon. Not telling you what, but it's coming hopefully within the next day or two. All right, certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'd like to say thank you to Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, Matt H. Number 1, Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, This Is The Way, Inc., I Am Frostman, Jane Everett, Corwin, Primed Ryan of Prime 9 fame, Caretixley, Koire, Pyrofros, The Goat Seeker, Denman Falcon, Quid Pro Joe, Doc D, the king of new Marvel Snap card content, Fat Nick, Ginger Prime, Philip Ratkovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, Xworth V, and Skippy G. Tommy Nyquist, winner of Snap Judgment League Season 1 and sponsor of Season 3. The King of Bros, bro. Also check out your DMs, King of Bros, bro. Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Woody, Ryan Wood, Kev Sihoda, Luna Chris, Archangel 3K, John Q, our newest friend, the 8th Sage. Someone, take him out. Become the newest friend. Mod Supreme Models, we love models. Darth Tater, Elena Satala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, J.D. McDonaldinho, who's in the podcast this week, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrum X, Hoot, Matt H, DJ Mikey Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, Mr. Craig Sterry, Seamus, who I checked in with and is doing well, good to hear, Jonesy, Two Ties, my Alliance leader, the great Lauren Whatevs, who did something so cool for me without asking anything in return. She's the best. The Pirate King Tuccrr, the homie Min, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for. We'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take that's going to have some tournament stuff. Stay tuned real soon for another huge surprise. Peace, peace, peace.